Today we're going to talk about the question that you'll have to answer when you go through the estate planning process, which is, at some point, should you dissolve your trust for the benefit of your beneficiaries? We're going to talk a little bit about what it means to dissolve a trust, and we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of dissolving your trust. I'll speak a little bit about my situation personally because I think it can act as an example as far as what it means, and we're going to talk about the distinction between dissolving the trust and just giving your beneficiaries the direction to be able to make their own decisions, because those are different things. Okay, so I'm going to give you my own personal example. This is not legal advice. This is an anecdote that maybe you can use and might be helpful. So I have young daughters, age 9 on down, and if something were to happen to me and my spouse, that money and our resources would need to go into a trust for their benefit. It is going to be managed by a trustee who can help make those decisions. Now, in prior videos, we've talked about 3 different kinds of trustees. It could be a friend or family that you know, it could be a professional, or it could be an entity. Now, whichever kind of trustee that you choose, the story still stays the same. So that trustee is going to be managing those resources for the benefit of the beneficiaries. And then at a certain age, now I'm going to use the age 30 as an example for my daughters. You can use whatever age you want, which is the case where I'm not necessarily thinking my kids or my beneficiaries are going to make bad decisions. I'm willing to let them be able to be in control of those resources. And so many think, okay, well, let's say that age is 30. Well, if I'm going to let them be in control of the resources, I don't need this trust anymore, and I can just dissolve it, where they just get those resources. Now, an advantage of just dissolving the trust, which you can do at any choice or at any time, it's your decision, it's your estate plan. The advantage of that is the administration goes way down, because then it just goes, all that money and resources just goes into an account for your beneficiary. So it is very clean and it is very simple. What is a downside of doing something like dissolving your trust? Well, one of the reasons you might have set up a trust in the first place is for the protections that it provides. So protections from divorce, creditor protection. Some of those issues that can arise, if you dissolve the trust, you no longer have the protections that the trust can bring. And so you're always going to be thinking through, how much do I value flexibility versus how much do I value simplicity? Because money in a bank is very simple, but it doesn't provide some of the flexibility and some of the protection that you might want inside of a trust. And an important thing to remember is, when you're talking about dissolving, you do not need to dissolve a trust in order to give your beneficiaries control to be able to direct the trust. So if you have a family member or a professional or an entity as the trustee that's making those decisions for your beneficiaries, you can set the age, let's say 30, where that trustee goes away and your beneficiary becomes the trustee of their own trust. What does that mean? It means the trust stays in place. You can keep those protections in place from creditors, from divorce, but you still allow them to make the decisions that they need to make in order to be able to get those resources. So you have the flexibility for the beneficiaries, and you have the protections that the trust provides. So dissolving the trust, while at face value may seem to add some simplicity later on down the road and kind of show trust to your beneficiaries, keep in mind that there are some serious downsides to dissolving a trust. And if your goal is to show that you trust them and to allow them to have that control, there are other solutions available to you. I hope you found this helpful. And as always, thanks for investing your time with the Personal CFO.